Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to calculate tax and how to calculate a discount on something. So first things first, let's actually talk about what is tax. Tax is how a government makes money. If a government is run in an ethical way, they don't just simply take money from its citizens. They get money every time you make a purchase. So when you go to the store and you buy something like pajamas or you buy I don't know, car, every single time you make a purchase, a portion of your purchase goes to the government. And so that's what tax is it goes to pay for things like your education and your healthcare, the maintenance of roads. It's actually, it's a really good thing having tax because then you get stuff, right? You just want to make sure your government is spending it correctly. But tax can be a good thing. Where we are talking about right now, it's British Columbia. And so we have two different types of tax. We have GST, which is our government sales tax, that's the government of Canada. That's so 5% of every purchase you make. So let's say you spend $1 on something that is taxable. 5 cents from your dollar goes to the government of Canada. They then actually put that 5 cents into a pot, and then they pay for everything in the country out of that main pot. The PST, that's the provincial sales tax, that is 7%. And you might be thinking like, whoa, why is British Columbia, why is their tax higher? That's a really good question. That's just how much they chose. Every province has a different amount. Every province gets money based on different resources in their province. And so in British Columbia, our government has decided that 7% is the amount that they're going to charge for everyone in BC. So if you again spend that dollar, 5 cents goes to the government of Canada, 7 cents goes to the government of British Columbia. And each of those governments has a big pot of money, and they pay for everything that you get for free from the government with the money that you spend on things. So the less you spend on things, the less money the government gets. So you complain about taxes, stop buying stuff. Problem solved. Okay, so let's talk about what is tax and what is a discount. Tax is money that the government takes from you and you add it to your total bill. So like let's say you buy something for $1 and you go to the cash register and they're like, oh, that'll be $1.12. And you're like, but it says $1. Like, why is it $1.12? The store in Canada is allowed to advertise the price before tax. In a lot of countries in the world, and I think it's actually a very logical thing, they advertise the price with the tax already included so that you know very easily if you can afford it before you get up to the till. In Canada, with most people, there's kind of like this waiting game where you're like, what's the total going to be? So tax is you have your amount. So let's say you've got something and you're buying it for $20, and you go up to the till, they're going to ask you for more than $20, and that is the tax. A discount is when you get to spend less. They might say, for example, Canada Day sale, 5% discount. Or, you're the first time shopping here, sign up for our email and you can get a 10% discount. A discount is when you take money off the total. So let's say you're buying something for $20 and they're giving you a discount. That means you're going to end up spending less than $20. Unless they tax you at the end. They could just be like, here's a discount and now you have to pay tax. So I'm actually going to show you how to do that in just a minute. So at least hopefully now you guys understand the difference between what is tax, what is a discount, how much are taxes. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to combine these. If we combine 7 and 5, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we are going to be calculating 12% tax. If you are somewhere else and you have a different amount of tax, then just simply take the numbers that I'm giving you and don't multiply it by 12, multiply it by the amount that you have, and that will give you a more accurate number. The other thing too to keep in mind is that some things are taxed and some things are not. So basic foods, you don't pay tax on. It's kind of nice. It's more processed foods and other products that you pay tax on. You might pay a different tax if, let's say, you're buying something from Quebec because they have another tax that they have to pay. So don't always be like, oh, it's always 12%. You might actually, on occasion, only pay the GST or only pay the PST. But for today's video, we're going to just work with 12% as our little percentage. So look at this nice shirt. This is really fashionable. We're going to go with this number here, $12. We're going to pretend that this shirt is $12. And here's how we calculate tax. This is kind of a crazy little thing. We do some multiplication. So I'm going to show you on your calculators how to type this in. I just got a new calculator. I'm so excited. It better work. So my shirt is $12. I'm going to times it by 0.12. That is going to tell me how much my tax is. So I'm going to show you this one more time. My shirt is $12 and I'm going to multiply that by 0.12. Think of it almost as a percentage, right? The tax is, well, not even as a percent. It is a percent. The government charges you 7%. 7% out of 100, or not 7, one government charges 7%, the other charges 5. So let's say 12%. So 12%, 12 out of 100. Well, if we make this literally out of 100, we're going to move that decimal place over. So instead of charging it by 12, we move the decimal place. Instead of behind the 12, we move it here. We go 1, 2. We move it over so that instead of 100, it's now out of 100. So that's actually why we multiply it by 0.12. If my tax were 8%, then it would be times 0.08. If my tax were 5%, it would be times 0.05, and so on and so forth. So let me erase this. On our calculators, let me show you here. We are going to type in on your calculator 12 times 0.12. Okay, so on your calculators, you're going to multiply 12, and you're going to put in 12, and you've got two options. You can either type in literally 12.00 or just 12. The answer is going to be the same. It doesn't matter what you type in. Maybe try this at home just so you can be like, whoa, she's not lying to me. So 12, and then you're going to go times 0.12. So let me show you what this is going to look like. So on my little calculator here, this is actually a pretty sizable calculator. So watch, I'm going to go 12, and I'll show you both ways just so you guys can see that it's correct, okay? So I've got 12. I'm going to hit multiply, and then I'm going to go 0.12. You guys can see it says 0.12, and then I'm going to go equals, and it says 1.44. I'm going to show you what this looks like if I put it, let me just write this down so I don't forget. So 1.44. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to show you what it looks like if I put in 12.00. It should be the same thing, right? So I'm going to put in 12.00. Okay, you can see 12.00. Now I'm going to times it by, where am I? 0.12. I hit equals, and it's still 1.44. So you guys can see it doesn't matter if you put in the 0.00 because it's the same thing. It just looks different. So what this is telling us, let me just write this on here, is that if my shirt costs $12, my tax is 12%. 12%, so let's say this bar, just to give you an idea, let's say this bar is worth $12, okay? This whole bar is worth $12. I need to figure out how much 12% is, so watch this. Half of 12 is right in here, so that'll be 50%. If I then went 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, so that's 50%, this is 50%, this is 10%, 12% would be this much and a little bit, okay? My goal is I'm trying to figure out how many dollars is that amount worth, right? So this whole bar represents my t-shirt. I need to pay tax on 12%. I need to figure out how much money does that equal, the $12, or the tax, the 12%. And I figured out with my calculator, it's $1.44. So here's the tricky thing. If I go up to the till and I hand them $1.44, the cashier is going to be like, that's awesome, you've paid the tax. But what about the t-shirt? So now I'm going to show you how to add it together to find out the total. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our total of $12 and we're going to take our $1.44 here and we're going to write it down. Now you can do this the long way. You can do this on your calculator. Just for fun, I'm going to show it to you on the calculator because I don't know, when we do all of this, we use our calculators. So let me show you. So $12 plus $1.44. So let me clear my screen. So I'm going to type in, okay, so you can see my screen. So I've got $12. And just for fun, I'm going to put in 0.00 because I'd be confused otherwise. I'd be like, where's the 00? So $12, I'm going to add, what was it, $1.44, 1.44. You guys can hopefully see this. I hit my equal sign and it's showing me $13.44. So I'm going to write this down, $13.44. This is how much my shirt now costs with the tax included. So when I go up to the till and I want to pay for this $12 shirt, I figured out that I need an extra $1.44 to pay for the shirt. So when I go up there and the cashier says, you know, it'll be $13.44, I'm not surprised because I've already done the math. I've got my calculator. I know that that's how much it's going to cost. Let me show you one more time because this is kind of confusing stuff. Let's say I found a new shirt and it's $8.99. That's within my budget. Okay. So $8.99, but I still have to pay tax. So my shirt is the same, but way better price. So $8.99, but I still have to pay 12% tax. So on my calculator, let me show you this. I'm going to type in $8.99, so 8.99, and I'm going to multiply times 0.12. So 0.12, and I hit equals. And then I get this really horrible number. It's just super long. So let me write this on the whiteboard, and I'll show you how we deal with this, okay? So it's Oh my gosh, this is so long. Let me write this down. 1.0788. Now, this is a real number. This amount of money is not made up. It's not incorrect, but it's so small, it would be like taking a penny and cutting a penny into pieces. If somebody handed you a piece of a penny, you'd be like, thanks, but this doesn't buy me anything. So that's why we don't really care about this stuff over here. So we've kind of got two options. Actually, we got a lot of options. So the numbers that we care about are two decimal places, two places after the decimal. So I could just call it a day and say that my tax is $1.07. I'm not even going to care about these other numbers over here. I'm just like, man, whatever. I've got my two numbers. I'm good to go. I could round, and let me show you how exciting this is. So exciting. This number after here, if it's bigger than 5, we round up. If it's smaller than 5, we round down. And let me just clarify, it includes 5. So 5 and up, we round up. Let me just even here, 5 plus arrow. Okay, 5 and up, round up. 4 and down, round down. So if I round 8 to the next number over here, that's going to make this now an 8. So if I want to be really accurate, my tax is going to be $1.08 and not $1.07. But when you're just starting off, I would cut yourself some slack and just say it's $1.07 or $1.08. So I figured out, let's just go with this guy, that if I'm buying a shirt for $8.99, I've multiplied by my 0.112 to get my tax. The amount of tax I have to spend on this t-shirt, if my tax is 12%, is $1.08. But again, I can't go up to the till and be like, here's my $1.08. They're going to say, where's the rest of the money? So I now have to add this to my t-shirt cost in order to get to the price here. Okay, so $8.99 times, oh my gosh, I just lied to you. I'm a liar. Okay, plus $1.08. So here's the cost of our t-shirt. We're going to add the extra amount that we just figured out for tax. So let me get my calculator. I'll show you what this looks like. So one of the things I've noticed in class we're struggling with right now, and by we I mean I, is pressing the numbers correctly. It's actually really hard to use a calculator. How many times you're like, what? It takes like 4 tries to get it correct. So $8.99, 8.99, you guys can see. So $8.99, I'm typing in the cost of my shirt, and I'm adding in $1.08 because that's how much my tax is, okay? So plus 1.08, right? So there's the cost of my shirt plus the tax. I hit the equal sign, and it says 10.07. So let me write this down. 10.07. This is how much our shirt now costs when we include, this is the cost of the shirt, this is the cost of the tax, this is now our total. We've combined the tax. So let me just show you this because this is kind of crazy. 10.07. So our final cost over here is 10.07. Sometimes this is really important if you want to just simply get right to the final answer. It's like, yeah, let's get to the final hour. So if you don't, like, let's say you're at a restaurant and you're buying dinner, because that's what you do at a restaurant, you buy dinner, and you're trying to figure out the tip. The tip is like a tax, right? And let's say your tip is you're tipping 12% or you're tipping 15%. Actually, you know what? Let me draw you this, and then I'll show you what this looks like, okay? And then I'll do this little fancy thing with the meal. I think pictures are really important, so I'm gonna draw you a picture of a pizza, and I really hope you like it, okay? This is a pepperoni pizza. Hopefully this makes it clear. We're buying pizza at a restaurant, and let's say our pizza is $19.99. Typically at a restaurant, it's standard practice in Canada to tip 15%. And that's 15% of the total, okay? You can choose. The whole point with the tip is you're saying to someone, like, literally, this is actually a really interesting thing. When you look at the French, like, pourboire. The word tip in French literally is pourboire. It's have a drink on us because you've done such a good job as a waiter, as a server. Help yourself to a drink. We've had such excellent service. That's what a tip is for. It's for saying to somebody, we were really impressed. You deserve a treat. You deserve a reward. So you decide, typically in Canada, you tip based on how well of a service you think they did. Originally, I'd say like 10 years ago, if you were at a restaurant, you're expected to tip like, I don't know, 10 to 15%. 15% was really generous. Now you go into a restaurant and it's like automatically populated with like option 1 is 15%, option 2 is 20%, option 3 is 25%. Well, if you think about it, like your meal, let's say you divide it, this is really poorly done. You're basically tipping on some machines. They want you to tip this much of your meal is to tip the waitress to say, yeah, you did a really good job. That's a pretty high percentage. Maybe they did a really good job. Maybe you think that they deserve that. Then that's what you want to choose. Maybe you think that they didn't. You tip whatever you want to tip. That's your right. So in Canada, typically our average is 15%. So let's just go with that. So to find my tax, I'm going to times $19.99 times 0.15. So let me get out my calculator. I'll show you what this looks like, okay? So on my calculator, you guys can see, so $19.99, and then I'm going to multiply by 0.15, not 1.2, because remember 1.2 is tax. Now I'm trying to figure out tip. I'm deciding 15% tip. Then I'm going to hit equals, and I've got this crazy long number. Let me write this down on my whiteboard. If you were doing this in a restaurant, you'd be like, how in the world do I tip this crazy long number? This is where we have to round. So what this is telling us is that, let's say our pizza costs this chunk, okay? I like to divide this into roughly little chunks. And we're saying roughly, so if this is 25%, maybe 15 is down here. So we're trying to say, of this whole pizza, how much is this amount worth right down here? How much is this chunk worth? And it is worth $2 and some cents. And so we need to try and figure out now, what is our total going to be? But we're stuck with a super, super long number that's not really realistic. When we use a bank machine and it says 15%, it automatically does it for us. When we use any kind of app, it'll do it for us. When we use a calculator, now that's more manual. We have to kind of do it for ourselves. So again, this is where we can round. You can either just keep it, you can keep these two numbers and just say, we'll call it a day at $2.99, and you can round. So let's say it's $2.99, and I've got this 8 that is going to make it actually bigger. So what is one number bigger than 99? A number bigger than 99 is 100. So this gets bumped up, this gets bumped up. So I can either tip $2.99 or $3. Does not make a huge difference, as you guys can see, if I'm rounding or not. But let's just pretend I go with the $3. My $19.99 pizza, if I'm going to tip, is actually going to cost me plus $3. So this, we don't even need a calculator for, but I'm going to use it just because today we spent a lot of time in class looking at our calculators. So $19.99, 19.99. Okay, so here's my $19.99. I hit the plus sign, and then I've got $3. I'm going to go 3.00. I hit my equal sign, and there you guys can see it. It says $22.99. Let me write this on the whiteboard. So $22.99. So this is the amount that we're going to spend on our pizza. I didn't even include tax in this one. I just wanted to show you how a tip works the exact same way as tax. And so you decide if you want to tip on the tax, or if you want to tip on the original amount. Again, that is your personal decision. So hopefully you guys can see at this point how tax and a tip function in the same way. So let's say our pizza is $19.99, and we're calculating 15% as our tip. And you guys saw here how I calculated, I went times 0.15, because I wanted to isolate how much the actual tip was. When you're in a restaurant, you're probably not going to care how much the actual tip amount is. You just want to get right to the total. So let me show you this. This is kind of crazy how this works. I'm going to figure out the total. I'm going to skip isolating just the tip, and I'm going to go right to the total. Watch this. I'm going to put a 1 right there. That, when I do that calculation, remember before it was nothing, it was just a 0, okay? I'm going to stick in the 1, and it's going to show me my final amount, okay? So watch this. So I've got $19.99, so 19.99, you guys can see $19.99. I'm going to multiply it by 1.15 instead of 0.15. I hit equals, and you guys, sorry, that was too fast. Look at this big long number. I'm going to write it on the whiteboard so you guys can see what this looks like. Okay, so we've got 22.9885. So check this out. 22.9885, I'm going to have, I'm going to round, but maybe I don't have to round. So I've got 22.98, or I can round this number up and make that a 9. And so this would then boost this up to here. So I could have 22.99, if that makes any sense at all. And so we're literally 1 penny off because we rounded and then we added, or added and then rounded. I forget what we did. But you guys are going to notice our pizza is going to cost us essentially the same thing with the difference of 1 penny. And I didn't have to isolate just the tip. I was able to get right to the total by multiplying it by the 1. Because what I'm saying is I'm saying multiply with the tip. This is the tip part. This is actually the cost of the pizza. That's the 1. The 1 is telling us include this in the calculation and tell me the final total amount, including the pizza. If I have a 0 and it's just 0.15, then I'm saying I only want to know what the tip is. I don't want to know what the final cost is, including the pizza. That works the same way for tax. It works the same way for tip. It works the same way for any percentage that you're calculating that you're adding on to the original amount. I'm going to pause and erase all this, and I'm going to show you how to manage a discount. Look at these nice pants. We're going to get a discount on these pants because maybe there's like a little hem missing on the pants and we don't want to pay full price. So we're going to go up to the till and we're going to say, can I please have a discount because these pants are a little bit damaged and I shouldn't have to pay full price for these damaged pants, and we're going to get a discount. So let's pretend these pants are $20. A discount, our math works the same way as why do I always do this? As tip and tax. But instead of adding, we subtract. Same sort of thing. So let's pretend now our discount is, let's just pick a rounded number. Let's say 26%. You go up to the till, you're like, I'd like a discount. And they're like, 26%. So here's how we do the math. Exact same sort of thing. We go multiply by 0.26. Whatever number we are trying to figure out the percentage of, we multiply by 0.26. So let me show you on our calculator. I've got $20 is the cost of my pants. So here's my calculator. I've got 20.00. And then I'm going to multiply it by 0.26. So multiply by 0.26 and I'm going to hit equals. And the answer is 5.2, as you guys can see. So let me write this down. You know, whenever I make videos, I don't know what it is. My nose gets so itchy and I think it's like a nervous thing. So I'm always like trying to like itch my nose without people seeing, but you saw. So 5.2. So this is how much of a discount we save. So let's say, again, we asked for a 26% discount. Well, no, they just gave it to us because they're really generous. We're going to take our $20 for our cost of our pants and we're going to subtract the amount that we're saving. So 5.2 looks kind of weird, but watch this. This looks more normal. I can always add a 0. Now it's $5.20. That looks way more normal. So I'm going to subtract the cost of my $5.20. See, here's my nose again. What's going on? And then that's going to be the cost of my pants after the discount. Okay, so I'm going to subtract the cost. So let me just back out. That was way too fast. Our pants cost $20. They said at the till, they're like, we can take off 26%. So we're going to do some calculations. We take $20 and we multiply it by 0.26. We then, when we do this math, it says 5.2, which looks weird. It doesn't look like a money number. It's still a number, but it doesn't look like a money number because we're used to seeing 2 digits after the decimal place. So it's $5.20. That's how much we don't have to spend. Originally, we were going to have to hand over 20 individual dollars. Now we get to keep $5.20. But instead of just handing over $20 and then counting back $5.20 and keeping it to ourselves, let's just figure out actually how much we have to push across the counter so that we're not pushing money across and then taking it back. So to do that, we're going to type in $20 and we're going to subtract $5.20. So let me show you again what that looks like on the calculator, okay? So if you guys can see, so we've got 20.00, then we're going to subtract, was it 520? So 5.20, and then I'm going to hit equals. And the answer we get is 14.8. Hopefully you guys can see that. So 14.8. 14.8. And again, this doesn't look like a money number because there's only one decimal. There's only one number after the decimal. We want to see 2. So I'm going to put in the 0. That looks way better. So 1480. That's how much money we actually have to physically push across the counter in order to buy these pants. So let's pretend though, because I want to show you, I want to combine things now. I want to combine discount and tax because that's 2 math things that we're having to do to solve one little thing. So let's pretend that our discount is 26%, but now they're like, you can have a discount, but like you still have to pay tax. Our tax is, because we're in BC, it's going to be 12%. So watch this. Our final amount, 1480, I'm just going to write this over here, 1480, and our original pants were $20. So let me erase all this and let me erase this. Okay, so our pants over here were $20. After a discount, they were $14.80. I just don't want to forget all these numbers. They're just so important. So we're going to take this number and we're going to come up here. So $14.80. And now we have to pay tax on the thing that we actually just saved money on. because that's the government for you. They're like, they're always going to get their tax. So we're going to multiply it by 0.12. And this looks like an intimidating question because there's so many decimals going on and there's so many numbers. But let me get out the calculator. I'll show you how this works. So it's 1480. So let me type this in. Okay, so you can see, so 14.80. I'm then going to multiply that, boop, multiply by 0.12. Okay, there's our tax. I hit equals. Let me just do that again because I think it's like fat finger syndrome. I just, like you heard that, it was like 4 buttons at once. So again, so 14.80. I'm going to multiply that by 0.12 and I get 1.776. So 1.776. So this does not look like a real math number or a real money number. This just looks like a crazy calculator number because it's 3 digits. We're used to seeing 2. Okay, so again, just so you guys remember, here's how we do this. We can either just simply keep the 2 digits that we want, or we can round. So our answer is either going to be $1.77, which if you're not a math person, that's kind of a nice number to keep. Or you could round and make it $1.78 because this 6 kind of bumps up the other one by 1. We have now figured out, I just circled 2 things. I should have only circled 1. Whoop. $1.78. If I've got my pair of pants, so they originally started off as 20 bucks, I got a 26% discount, which meant that I only had to pay $14.80. But then the salesperson was like, don't forget the tax. So then I had to figure out the tax on the pants on the $14.80, not on the $20, figuring out the tax on how much my pants are after the discount. I multiply it by my tax, which is 12%. I get this crazy long number. I figure out how to make it look more like a money number by just rounding up or just simply taking the first 2 digits after the decimal. I get $1.78. So my tax is $1.78. But now I need to actually figure out how much my pants are after the discount, including the tax. So it's $14.80, and I'm going to add on the amount of tax, which is $1.78 plus $1.78. So you guys can see this right here in the video. I want to show it to you in the calculator what this looks like, okay? So we've got, what is this? $14.80. So you guys can hopefully see the screen. So 14.80. And then I'm going to add the cost of my tax, which is $1.78. So plus 1.78. And my answer is $16.58, as you guys can see. Okay, so $16.58. $16.58. And that is how we calculate a discount and then tax. So hopefully that makes sense. You might want to maybe watch this a few times if it didn't make sense, or a totally different video if this one did not make sense. But hopefully that was clear, and good luck.